everybody! If you have watched my videos on the Orchard, then you know that there are some fucking crazy people in the internet. But the thing is that, as crazy as she might be, she doesn't scratch the surface on how bad the internet can be. So I decided to take a break from my usual content into some voluntary work to teach you how to not be terrible people. And I decided to go to the place where there's the biggest amount of assholes and people disconnected from reality and internet poison idiots. Reddit. Let's take a look at some stories and let's analyze them. And I'm going to start with one. It is kind of old, but it is my favorite Am I the Asshole story. Am I the asshole for beating my boyfriend at Super Smash Brothers? Not the asshole. Let's take a look at the first paragraph. My boyfriend and I are competitive people and often play board games, video games, puzzles, etc. We are both in STEM fields. You're the asshole. I don't need to read anything else. Second sentence already, you're the asshole. I'm going to tell you right now that STEM field is absolutely irrelevant for the story. The only reason why the person, the OP, said STEM fields because they wanted to evoke a specific image in my head. And the image that I'm receiving is the INTJ Rick and Morty fan being like, ooh, let's compete on everything in our lives. So I already think that this person is a massive asshole. But let's keep reading. And we compete in a lot of things. It's usually all in good fun, often winning puzzles and him in video games. He brought back an old console and we played Super Smash Brothers together, a game he used to play as a kid. Not going to lie, he beat me pretty badly, but what bothered me was how condescending he was about it. When I asked him questions about how to get better or what to do, he said something along the lines of, you could play for years and never beat me, and I shouldn't even try because I had no chance. He wouldn't even properly explain the controls to me. It was frustrating and I saw red and thought to myself, oh, it's on, motherfucker. So I googled how to improve and I asked a mutual friend for help who linked me a bunch of YouTube's videos on how to play, and apparently you can play the game online even though it's old. I have a very OCD personality, you're the asshole, and I am very organized when it comes to learning. So I immediately hired the best Smash Bros coach I could find, and they were surprisingly cheap. I even paid more than what the coach asked for per hour because he was so helpful. My coach would do an hour a day with me explaining things and give me stuff to practice on my own. I'd only do this during the day when my boyfriend was at work. I work from home. Within weeks we were playing close matches and within a month I was beating him. I could tell he was getting more and more frustrated. He'd force me to play until he won or make excuse. Honestly, I started losing on purpose sometimes to spare his feelings. He must have complained to our mutual friend about it because he found out I was secretly practicing and he got really mad at me. Apparently it's fucked up that I hid this and paid money only to humiliate him, and it's been so frustrating it's even affecting him at work. I told him that this was just my personality and how I approach challenges, and his ego should be able to handle losing. So Reddit, am I the asshole for secretly training and beating him? This became a meme in my life. Every time that someone says, oh wow, my sister just beat me at Mario Kart, oh because my boyfriend just made me a surprise breakfast in bed. What I say is like, you should hire a trainer and train in secret so you can best them. You should totally do that. That's something that normal people do. You should dedicate money and precious time out of your life to humiliating your boyfriend. You saw your boyfriend being good at something that you aren't, being kind of excited about a game you used to play as a kid. Well, tough luck, he needs to learn that you can suddenly start practicing and hiring a fucking teacher with the specific purpose of humiliating him. But you know what really sells me on the story, why the story is so good? Is because in the story, she even admits that she's not having fun anymore. She just says that she starts losing on purpose because it starts getting boring. She doesn't like playing anymore against her boyfriend. So what's even the fucking point of that? All that effort, all that money wasted, your boyfriend's mad at you and you're not even having fun. Dude, you're the asshole. Apologize and try to move past it. Jesus Christ. Not the asshole, but his attitude is an indicator of what your future could be like. Honestly, do you want to be with someone who is going to act the way he did when you wanted to learn and when you beat him at his game? When it's his way, it's good fun. When he loses, he throws a tantrum. If the situation was reversed, would you have taught him the game? You two need to sit down and the discussion needs to include the triggering event. Bitch, she could teach the game right now. She knows more than him. She could teach the boyfriend how to fight better. She could do this right now and she wouldn't have done it either. But yeah, you need to discuss this triggering event because your boyfriend can't handle your girl bossing around the place. Not the asshole. Also so funny. LMAO. Also let your partner know that if him losing to you at Smash is affecting him at work, he might need to see a therapist and unpack those thoughts and emotions because it's not healthy at all to hyper-focus like that on something as silly as a game between friends. Yeah, I agree. It's not healthy at all to hyper-focus like that on something as silly as a game. So you shouldn't hire a coach and train in secret to beat your boyfriend. What is this going on? Oh my god. Am I the asshole for refusing to share my family's cookbook with my half-sister? Not the asshole. Let's see what they say. My mom's grandma started a cookbook before she had kids. My grandma inherited it for her when grandma started having kids, and then my mom got it before she had me. My mom gave it to me when she was sick. I was 7 at the time and died soon after. She told me to be careful with it, that it was special to our family. A couple of years after she died, I learned my dad had cheated on her with his wife and that my half-sister was the product of the affair and born before my parents' divorce was finalized. I was too young to realize when it was all going on. After learning this, I had a hard time being around my dad. I remember my mom being sad and it made sense why. I also learned that he had told my mom in a really cruel way. How I found out is I eavesdropped on a fight between dad and my uncle and aunt and heard it all, including how much my dad hated how boring my mom was. I remained distant from him, his wife, and my half-siblings ever since. My dad decided to tell the oldest of my half-siblings about the cookbook. He mentioned how much I valued it and all kinds of stuff. She wanted to share with me, to cook from it, and to get to writing it like I will someday. She pestered me about it and every time I told her no. Then her parents would tell her more about it. In the end, she was upset and sobbing over being told no. I was told her it was something special from my mom's side and I want to keep it private until I have children. That wasn't good enough because she insisted we were family and she's my sister. My dad and his wife were angry at me. My dad's parents also told me I should have shared it with her and that I'm being cruel to her when my mom isn't alive to care if the child born from the affair gets part of the book or not. But she could be closer to me because I share it with her. I don't really care about my dad or his wife's opinion. I have no respect for them. They're pieces of shit in my eyes. But my grandparents and I always got along okay enough. Am I the asshole? Okay, so this thing about recipes, I'm not sure if this is exactly an American thing, but I see a lot on the Anglo internet. Oh, because this is a secret family recipe. It's secret. It's passed through generations. I'm never going to tell anyone. And as a Brazilian person, I don't understand this at all. Here in Brazil, not only do we share recipes, but we insist that everything should be cooked our way. Trust me, I'm from Espírito Santo. There's like this huge fight over a dish. So I cannot identify with this conflict at all. I actually think she's kind of the asshole here because I don't understand how adding a recipe to the recipe book is going to make it worse. I mean, you are going to add recipes that you learn from your lifetime, right? Like if you see some recipe in TV, you're going to write it down on the family cookbook, right? What's the difference from it being from your half-sister? You think the ghosts of your family are going to be upset or something? So anyway, here are some solutions that I propose to this conflict. The first one is saying no, you won't do that, and just not caring because it's obvious that you don't care. I don't even understand why you're asking Reddit about it. It's obvious you're not going to share no matter what Reddit says. Or you could scan your cookbook, give it to your half-sister and be like, okay, the original cookbook is going to be with me, but here's for you so you can cook also the recipes. Or you can loan the cookbook, tell her to write a recipe, get it back, and just rip it off. Just take off the page. Or, as I said, you could just let your sister write in the cookbook and just let it be like that. There's nothing really wrong with that. You know, I think that we should ignore everything about the affair because this is not the sister's fault. If the sister was like an asshole and she was like, wow, because she destroyed my house, she broke my things, but like, yeah, okay, you're not the asshole for not allowing her into your life or that tradition, but like, it's not her fault that her dad cheated on your mom. It's not. It feels like she's very bitter about something that wasn't her fault. It happened a long time ago. And you know what? If she wants to be bitter about it, it's fine. It's fine, but you know, she's being petty. She's being an asshole. This person really wants to be a part of something that wouldn't harm you at all. And you are really breaking her heart, really hurting her feelings for absolutely no reason other than your pettiness. And it's fine. You do whatever you want. You want to be petty, you can. You want to be an asshole, you can. But you know, you're being an asshole, just saying. Let's see what the comments have to say about this. Not the asshole and give the book to your aunt or uncle for safekeeping before it goes missing, is destroyed or edited. Scan the pages and make yourself a working copy, then put the original somewhere safe as a treasured heirloom. Maybe a safe deposit box. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Are they seriously jumping to the conclusion that she's going to break into her house, steal the cookbook and fucking destroy it? Like, really? I'm petty. I scanned the pages but make some photoshopped alterations which makes the recipe states wrong, inedible. You know, but if they copy your book, they won't be able to reproduce them properly. Yeah, I don't understand this. I think this is a glimpse of a culture that I am completely alienated from. When I find a recipe that I like, I share it with everyone. Like, oh my god, you want to see this bread recipe that I found? It's great. I actually did find a bread recipe that was actually pretty great. It's for that bread that you use to make eggs Benedict, you know, I forgot the name, but it's really good. It doesn't require, you know, massaging the bread. I forgot the word. I'm going to put the link in the description, by the way. It's really good. Am I the asshole for forbidding my sister to meet my child and telling my wife to butt out of the situation? Voted not the asshole. Let's see. So the judgment is pretty much exactly as the title suggests. I will provide context though. I have a 2-year-old son with my wife. My older sister Ariel has 2 kids with her husband. She is my only sibling, but we do not speak and haven't since my wedding 4 years ago. My wife knew I had no relationship with my sister or mother whenever we got together, but now it's causing an argument. We were a pretty typical family unit until my mom cheated my senior year of high school with a coworker. My dad moved out immediately and I moved with him. This caused a rift between me and my sister. My sister believes since my mom was sorry and it was a one-time thing, as she claimed, which I don't for a second believe, and was trying to reconcile through the church that me and my dad refused to speak with her, was somehow wrong. I was 18 and my sister was 20. Long story, but eventually my sister stopped speaking with my dad. I haven't seen my mom since 2016 and we only have spoken once since in 2019. She tried to invite herself to my wedding. She was not invited, but my sister was out of courtesy. My sister didn't show up and we have not spoken since. My wife knew when she married me that my only family was my dad and my cousin. She said it was okay, she didn't care. So a few months ago, my wife got a call from my sister's husband and he said that he wanted to start mending the bridge and would like to have me come meet their kids. I said no. Well, then my sister started sending pics of her kids to my wife and my wife sent pictures back. I told her multiple times I did not like this and she told me she could send pics to whoever she wants. I said that if she keeps testing my boundaries, she will be a single parent really soon. That she signed up for me as it is. My wife is saying it's wrong to provide my son with his family. I said I don't even have a relationship with my sister or brother-in-law, so why should my kid? That doesn't make me feel comfortable at all, and I don't even know these people. Also, any pic she sends could easily be forwarded to my mom, and she needed to think about that. She said she doesn't even understand why my mom can't meet her kid, and that comment alone pissed me off because I explained my family drama for years and it feels like she just ignored it. I said she really needs to think about who she wants to appease because I'm not going to stand for disrespect of my boundaries. My dad totally agrees with me and is telling me I should start setting aside money now for an exit strategy. Because my wife's behavior is exactly how my mom used to act, and I should see the warning signs now. Am I the asshole? I kind of want this to become some kind of family curse. That would be hilarious. Like in 30 years, we're going to see another post in Am I the Asshole? It's going to be like, well, I want to divorce my wife because my grandpa divorced my grandma because my grandma cheated on him, and my dad and my aunt stopped speaking to each other because of that, but my mom wanted to talk to my aunt and my dad divorced her because of that, but my wife disagrees with that and I want to divorce her. Am I the asshole for maintaining a divorce family curse for 3 generations? So yeah, in case you're wondering, I do think that the guy is an asshole, and also I don't think he cares. I mean, if he already is like, oh, I'm going to divorce my wife over this, it seems like you have made your decision. It seems like no one can sway you from that now. You're just posting here looking for validation. Let me put it this way, the disagreement that he has with his sister is not because of behavior, it's because of ideologies, and it's a specific kind of ideology that you can't really control. You see, the reason why OP is mad at his sister is because his sister didn't think that an affair was that wrong, but he can never be sure that his wife will never be friends with a person that had an affair. You might be friends with someone that had an affair and you might not know it. And the sister didn't even have the affair, just thought that it was going too far and she didn't want to break the family over that. So like the mother of your child's friend becomes your friend, and maybe she has the same beliefs, you wouldn't know that because maybe you even ask her and she lies to you, be like, no, I'm totally against affairs because I don't know, she knows about your messy history and she lies to you. And that wouldn't change anything at all because it's not something unhealthy or something that's going to damage your life. There are ideologies that I think are harmful and you should cut people from that, because I wouldn't want, for example, my kid to become friends with a kid with anti-vax parents because I would be afraid of diseases. And I wouldn't be friends with someone that is racist or homophobic and could teach this kind of ideas to my son. But even if you pick something like, well, I don't want my child to be friends with a family that's vegan, that's kind of fine because you can test it. That is a boundary that you can maintain. But you can't maintain a boundary like that for something you can't test. And he said, my sister and her husband are strangers to me, so they are strangers. So there are no negative feelings, right? I think that the guy is an asshole, and I do think that he's not going to be able to maintain his boundaries, and he is willing to completely destroy his family and raising money for an exit strategy because of his wife wanting her child to have more family, to have more of a safety net, to have more friends. And you're the asshole, man. You're the asshole, but it doesn't seem like you care. Am I the asshole for leaving a wedding to eat at McDonald's? Not the asshole. Let's see what the story is about. Hi, I'm F25. Recently, my colleague invited me to her wedding, which happened yesterday. I was super excited and happy for her. Just in case, I asked her if there was any gas fees. She said, no, you don't need to pay me anything. On the day itself, everything went well until the reception dinner time. To my shock, I was presented with a wedding menu that had prices on it. For example, steak $50. Everything was ridiculously expensive, including the vegetarian options. At first, I wanted to question her because, well, she lied to me that I didn't have to pay for anything. But it was her wedding and I didn't want to spoil her day by embarrassing her in front of everyone. You're the asshole for assuming that she lied to you. Like, you automatically just assuming the worst of your friend. Have you ever considered that maybe she misunderstood you or that she forgot? Why are you assuming that she lied? It feels like it's a lot of bias in the story because they're trying to sway me in her direction, you know, being like, oh, she lied to me, she was dishonest, but I mean, come on, that might have been an honest mistake. However, the only option was to simply not eat, as I didn't bring enough money for both a meal and the right bag, but it was completely unfavorable as I had to keep my lunch to save space for the wedding meal and I was pretty hungry. Suddenly, I remembered that I saw McDonald's about 5 minutes away from the hotel. As tactfully as I could, I asked the bride if I could make a quick stop to McDonald's as I didn't bring enough money for the reception meal. I said that I'd be back in time for the gift ceremony and cake. I thought she'd agree, but to my horror, she got really upset. She said that she put in so much effort to get this Michelin star restaurant service. That's a thing that totally exists. Yet I still wasn't happy that I was trying to bring her down by saying that I'd rather eat a McDonald's. Alarmed, I said that I didn't mean it that way. I just didn't have the cash for it. She then scoffed, saying, "Whose fault is that?" Although I was trying to keep in my anger, those words really pissed me off. So I told her, "You were the one who lied, that I didn't need to pay anything." Getting angry as well, she replied, "What I meant was there is no attendance fee. You literally assumed that you'd get a free 5-course dinner. Wow, you were cheaper than I thought." With a glare, she asked me to leave her wedding. I did, struck dumb and rather hurt. And on my way home, I grabbed a Big Mac lol. Back at home, I told my boyfriend everything and asked if I was an asshole. He thought it was a funny story but said I was an asshole. If I didn't have the money, I could always pay her back later. In his exact words, he said, "You chose the wrong time to be stingy." My other friends agree as well, saying that it was not tactful for me to doing that at her wedding, and although she lied, I should have just brushed it off instead of dampening her happy spirits. After hearing her opinions, I feel quite guilty and embarrassed. However, that one little part of me still thinks that it's justified because 1, she lied to me, and 2, publicly humiliated me. Please help me out. Am I the asshole? So, okay, before I cast my judgment here, I'm going to say that I am a very stingy person. If you know me personally, I am probably the stingiest person that you know. I am so stingy. You have no idea. I love saving money. I love not paying for things. This is something that I absolutely love. So you need to keep this in mind when I say she's the asshole. She's totally the asshole, and I'm going to tell you why. You see, the problem wasn't that she didn't want to pay for the meal. The problem is that she went to the bride and said that she didn't want to eat the meal at her wedding and would rather go to a McDonald's. You don't do that. Even if it's like a party, a house party, you don't go to say, "Hey, I don't want to eat the food at your party. I want to go to McDonald's instead. Can I go?" You don't do that. Assuming that you need permission to leave, which I doubt, you could just make an excuse, you know? You could just say, I don't know, my neighbor just texted me, said that I left my door open, so I need to go and close it. I don't know, just make up some bullshit and say, yeah, I'm gonna be in time. If you really do need to explain to the bride, because I do believe that she's going to be busy enough to not notice that you're there. But really, you're going to go and stretch the bride and says, yeah, I'm not going to eat the food at her weddings. I'm going to now McDonald's. Can I do that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just say something else. Just invent an excuse. Don't do that. Fucking, like, were these people raised in barns? I'm not going to say that these stories are false or fake, so I am not going to say anything about her having to pay for a wedding, but I do have to say this is pretty suspicious. Am I the asshole for telling a morbid joke about my son? This got voted asshole, but I did want to comment on something with you guys. I'm just going to skip through it. This is a story about a guy who lost a child. His son died, and he made a joke about it with his wife. And his wife got really upset and is not talking to him anymore. And you know, the comments agree that he's an asshole and everything, but this is something that I see a lot in the My The Asshole, and I just wanted to talk about it because there are these people that go to My The Asshole, these problems, and they shouldn't, because it honestly doesn't matter they're the asshole or not. You made a joke about your dad's son to your wife that you presumably love, the mother of your children, and she's so upset that she doesn't want to talk to you. Why do you care if you're the asshole? She's upset, man. Go apologize to her. You see, really, oh, okay, my wife's not talking to me because of these traumatic events in our lives. Am I the asshole? Random people in the internet? This is something that it's just like, does it matter, man? Does it matter? Not everything in life is a discussion to be won. Not every discussion in life has a winner. Sometimes you just gotta take the fall, like I should have done that. If I really loved someone and I married them, I had children, and suddenly that person went like, dude, I can't look at you anymore, I don't love you anymore because I saw you eating mayo in a bread. I wouldn't go to the internet and say, hey, am I the asshole because my wife said she didn't love me anymore because I don't eat mayo anymore. I would like try to solve the situation. I would try to talk to her, see if something happened to her so that she was hating mayo all of a sudden. I would try to solve the situation. Figuring whether or not I was the asshole for eating mayo is not the priority here. Even if I am right and not the asshole. This is like, Jesus, this is an adult that had 4 children. How does this happen? Am I the asshole for buying a lower grade steaks when my in-laws visit and serving my mom and dad wagyu? No, voted not the asshole. My wife and I live far away from both sets of parents. We visit them a couple of times a year and they visit us about the same. My mom and dad love food, they're gourmet people. My in-laws are lovely people, but boiling chicken drumstick is fancy for them and they refuse to eat steak that isn't well done. Oh my god, is this one of those guys? They're like, oh, because you can't eat real steak if it's well done. The cow died for nothing. These kinds of people are so annoying. I'm just gonna say that they're asshole right there. I bought some beautiful prime steak for them when they came over when we moved in together. I made theirs medium well and I dyed it inside. Her dad took it back to the grill and destroyed them. So now I buy select grade meat. I've been buying some excellent quality wagyu for when my parents visit, not every single time, maybe once a year. My wife says I'm being an asshole by not treating both families the same. I don't think I should waste money on great food for them when I know how they will treat it. I consider the guy to not be an asshole because you are inviting people to your home and you are cooking for them. You have the right to serve whatever you want. These people are eating in your house, they're eating for free, you're the host, you get to decide. However, how is this that much of an issue for this to be an actual discussion with your wife? Why do you always make steaks? Make spaghetti or something, who cares? Like, if you really want to be cheap with your wife's parents, you could do something much worse, honestly. I will say that based on story, not the asshole. But I think that there's something else going on here because why so much steak? Because there's no way the discussion couldn't have been solved outside of Reddit. I think that there's something else about not treating the family the same. But as it stands, I'm gonna say not the asshole, but it's amazing the amount of conflicts that show up and like, who are these people? Who cares about this? What is going on? Am I in a different dimension or something? So yeah, now this is the end of the video. Isn't the internet an amazing place? You can connect multiple people from multiple backgrounds and you can see just how fucking insane their lives are. And even if the stories and I'm the asshole are fake, the incredible things that the comments are real. The people are commenting as if the story were real and sometimes they just say so much fucked up shit. It's honestly kind of makes me lose my faith in humanity a little bit. So I hope by watching this video, I hope that you learn not to be a fucking Redditor and actually be a decent person. You're welcome. Bye bye.